Hello, this is Mark Porter for Kinesiology 274. Today we're going to analyze the pull-up exercise. We're going to look at the 5 kinematic variables that go into analyzing this movement. The first thing we're going to work on is timing. So this is my assistant Rosie. She's going to help me out with the timing. So we're going to analyze the concentric phase of this movement today. And the concentric phase is the lifting phase. So the contraction as we move up through the pull-up against gravity. So we're going to work in the frontal plane of motion today. We're going to tract our elbow straight out the side. As we flex our elbow and adduct our shoulder through this movement, we're going to stay right here in line, everything in line with our torso. This is working in the frontal plane of motion. We don't want to come out into the sagittal plane at all, front or back. We just want to keep nice and straight. Our spine is going to remain neutral. We want to keep our neck, thoracic, and lumbar spine as neutral as possible. And then we're just going to go ahead and flex at the elbow and adduct at the shoulder, as well as retract the our scapula and our shoulder girdle. They're going to retract and actually rotate downward as we move up through the concentric phase. So as this movement is occurring, our scapula on this side of our shoulder is going to rotate down. So from this angle here, we're going to rotate down this way in downward rotation. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to analyze the timing of this movement, and I'm going to ask Rosie to go ahead and tell me when to go. I'm going to raise through the top, and I will tell her when to stop, and that'll give us the time during the concentric phase. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that a bar was not available for me today for this movement, so I'm just using the edge of the awning. We're still using a forward grip. We're still staying slightly wider than our shoulders in our grip, and we're still maintaining the frontal plane of motion throughout this movement. And I'm also going to ask if Rosie can point out any mistakes. So if I'm coming out of line, if you notice that my shoulder or my elbow comes forward in front of my torso at all or behind, just give me a little cue or a little tap and let me know to bring that back. We also have a tape measure here to analyze the displacement of this movement that we're going to go into after we do the timing. All right? Okay, I'm ready.
Go.
Stop.
2.8.
2.8 seconds. Okay. So the timing for the concentric phase of this exercise is 2.8 seconds. Now we're going to move on to the displacement. So I'm going to ask if you can step up on the step stool, and we're going to measure the point of my chin. So the bottom of my chin, I have this tape measure is fixed to the very top of the awning here on the edge. I'm going to measure from straight arms, the bottom of the chin. As I raise through, we'll take a second measurement through the concentric phase, and then we'll calculate the difference, and that'll be our total displacement for this movement. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. Okay.
25.
25. All right, let me regrip really quick. Okay. Seven and a half. Okay. So our initial starting point was at 25 inches, and then we finished off at 7.5 inches from the fully extended arms, fully abducted shoulder, and then at flexion of the elbow and adduction of the shoulder at the top of the concentric phase, we were at 7.5 inches. So that's a total displacement of 17.5 inches. Thank you, Rosie. That was awesome. Okay.
Good.
How'd I do? Okay.
You did good.
Okay, thank you. So we measured our timing, we measured our position, we measured our displacement. We now are on paper for the CAP3 assignment. We're going to go ahead and measure the velocity. So we're going to take that, the units are meters per second. So we're going to look at our displacement over the time. So our 17.5 seconds, or 17.5 inches, we're going to have to first convert into meters. And then we're going to divide that by the time in seconds that it took, which was what, 2.8? So over 2.8 seconds, that'll give us our velocity in meters per second. Once we have that number, we're going to calculate our acceleration. So acceleration is going to be velocity over time. So whatever number we get from that, we're going to go ahead and divide by the time of 2.8 seconds one more time. That's going to give us meters per second squared. That'll be our acceleration. That is our fifth kinematic variable. And then in the CAP3 assignment, we're also going to go ahead and analyze the lever system for each joint being analyzed. So again, for the concentric phase of the pull-up, we looked at elbow flexion, shoulder adduction for the glenohumeral joint, for the shoulder girdle itself, mainly in the muscles surrounding the scapula. We were downwardly rotating, and this is also bringing, the purpose for this is to retract our shoulders and kind of bring our shoulder blades into our midline as close as possible so that we're not winging, we're not bowing out and rounding around our spine at our scapula. So we do want to work as close as possible in the frontal plane of motion during this movement. So I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.